be upon you. My name is Safiratul Amana. Come from class biology, class D. History of Islamic civilization, the Prophet Da'wah in Mecca, and the establishment of a social system in Mecca. The Prophet Da'wah in Mecca and the establishment of a social system in Mecca. Prophet Muhammad's love method Da'wah in Mecca, formation of social system in Mecca. The life of the Prophet Muhammad before being appointed as an apostle, appointed as a prophet. The biography of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Prophet Muhammad breathed in Mecca on Monday, 20 April 570 Masehi, or 12 Rabiul Awal years Gajah. The Prophet Muhammad grew up to be a young man with good moral, protected from heroes and dirty acts such as drinking khamr, drunk, gambling, going to entertainment venues, and adultery, which have become a tradition. Is a tradition. He is now a humble, forgiving birth, and honest young man. So he was nicknamed Al-Amin. Before being appointed a prophet, he was 12 old. He was invited by his uncle Abu Talib to start the land of Syria. When he was 25 years old, he married Khadijah, who was 40 years old. From this marriage, there was Billy with 6 children and raised a child with a mother Zaid bin Harithah. At the age of 35, had the honor of resolving disputes between groups about who had the rights to return to Boston to its original place. With this authority, he can overcome the dispute and give satisfaction. All the tribes were alleged with that of my version. Appointed to be a prophet to Hira cave. Worried about the condition of the Arab, experiencing a decline in morality and moral, and the collapse of Aqidah is rampant tyranny and outrage. Decide to treat to Hira cave, to calm to man, the mind to find a way out, how to get the community back in a better direction. Appointed is a puppet, 40 years. The angel Gabriel come to him and comfort revelation his dirty. On the 17th of Ramadan, he received a revelation first. The first revelation he got was Surah Al-Araf verse 1 until 5. Which was appointed a prophet of the end time and will a prophet. Then total the assigned to this wife Khadijah. The prophet was then invited to meet a priest named Waraqah bin Nawfal. After the Prophet recounts the event that had happened to him, Waraqah then said, "This is angels. Angels sent down by Allah to the first prophet." 2 years after the first revelation, two angel Gabriel came to see the prophet again. He delivered the second revelation of the prophet Muhammad, namely the letter Al-Mudassir verse 1 until 7. With the second revelation, the prophet Muhammad already had the obligation to preach dakwah in secret. Method dakwah in K2. Dakwah in secret, dakwah openly. Dakwah in secret, the prophet realized that his task was a heavy task. Therefore, the prophet goes to a preach in secret first. He delivered dakwah starting from the people close to him, including other Abu Bakr converts to Islam. Many people followed him. Dakwah in secret, his wife Khadijah. Young people like Ali bin Abi Talib and Zaid bin Haritha among the served Bilal. Community leader Abu Bakr. Nouns as-sabiqun al-awwalun, which mean people who previously converted to Islam. There were like Usman bin Affan, Zubair bin Awam, Talha bin Ubaidillah, Fatima bin Khattab, and Arqam bin Abdul Arqam attended. They received teaching and direct guidance from the people himself, as a training camp that times the house of Arqam bin Abdul Arqam. After the Prophet Muhammad SAW cards, this da'wah secretly were about 40 people converted to Islam. The preaching, which was carried out in secret, lasted for about 3 years. After that phase, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala revealed, namely the letters Al-Hijr verse 9. That first ordered the Prophet to preach openly. The first step taken into preach to close relatives and then level society. Dakwah activities openly increase the number of followers of Muslims. However, preaching openly made some of the Quraysh unhappy. This is because the Prophet is filled against traditionism and the worship of those worship idols. The Quraysh, displeased with the Prophet, make them do things that are not right, a form of reaction towards the Prophet did. Of course, cards of acts of oppression, torture to the Prophet, even the Prophet was ridiculed by the people. Factor of the Quraysh against the Prophet preaching. The kind distinguishes between Prophet and power. Prophet Muhammad calls for equality between Nabs and Sahara servant. The leader of Quraysh did not want to believe and did not want to act to teaching of resurrection and faith in the heart. Tackled to the ancestor in a tradition that is rooted in the Arab scriptures and start to sell few Islam about substance. Change in attitude of the Quraysh after their extant Prophet Da'wah. First, I first love turned to hate. 2. It was caused at first turning away. 3. At first, comes and hastily and stopped mocking and ridiculing him. Originally, friends and close relatives turns into enemies' mind. The truth and tale of the courage invades made the prophet even more worried about his followers. To avoid the rise of a strong street in the end, the prophet decides to immigrate outside the city of Mecca, such Habashah, Ta'if, and Yathrib or Medina. The purpose of this prophet's migration is to expand Islamic da'wah. The establishment of a social system in Mecca. Before Islam was born, the Arab were known as the Jahiliyyah people. They lived in bad tradition or morals. Here are some Arab traditions before Islam. Lockdown on humans, kills baby and newborn. Woman for first brings disgrace, selling by greed, by girl. Like to dying ones, like to gamble, draw fights, rob and justify overthink, how to make wishes come true. Worshipping the idol placed in every house and camp or the city, like war and strife. During this da'wah in Mecca, the Prophet Muhammad talked about monotheism, morality, and the Quran. The teaching of monotheism are the basic teaching of Islamic teaching. The teaching of monotheism taught by the Prophet Muhammad gave freedom to mankind and made humans equal to one another as the right and the power have the same degree. Therefore, weak people who are under pressure in injustice flock to Islam. This caused the courage infidels to increase their oppression and intimidation, although this did not break the beliefs of the Muslim. The reason is that the Quraysh in fact committed of atrocities. Because the teaching of the Prophet Muhammad made a revolution and changed the people perspective, thus strengthening the power of people Quraysh. The main point of the teaching of monotheism taught by the Prophet is reflected. Surah Al-Fatiha is as follows: the Allah is the true creator of the universe. The Allah has given prophets all the necessities for his creatures and especially for human. But intention and grace are there to get heavens in the world and the heaven. That Allah is the king of a hereafter, will take into account human deeds in this world. That Allah is the true and only deity, only to Allah all forms of the sin are directed. That Allah is the real help and therefore only to Him people ask for help. That good is actually the one who was great human and navigating the life of what's full of obstacle and temptation.